Hello, everyone. Um, just a short demonstration and reminder about how to use Google Fonts and type in general on the web. Okay, so yeah, candy hearts again, because it's simple. Um, we're going to work with this thumb title class, which is how this type is styled. And it applies to every one of these red boxes under each one of these pictures. I'm going to take the red off. That is just there so that you can see what we're working with. So I have my thumb title. Now, first of all, I want to make sure we're on our style sheet. In this case, I want to be under global because that's where I have this set. Because remember in a previous thing, we made a media query, so we have different selectors under that one. We're working with our global selector. We go down to thumb title, and I can just go ahead and I'll just comment that out for now. Also remember, I'm using M's. This is 1M, which in this case is 16 pixels because that is the size of our body font. If I look at our body type, that's 16 pixels. So our thumb title, if it's 1M, is 16 pixels. Okay. Right now, I've already given it a font family, which is Gill Sans. It's probably best to do that because it's just easier to replace that line because it's, helps you find it. But it's not required that you already have a font family selected. You could just go with the default for the page. All right, so let's jump to Google Fonts. I think we're ready for this now that we've established what we're doing. So in Chrome, I'd already found Bauman's. All I did, it's right here. I'm going to unsubtract it. So, browse whatever you want. Bauman's looked like it was a good display font because it's pretty obvious if you look at that A, how it's going to, the change, be able to see the change. So I added it. And then I just need to follow these two steps. Step one, take this and put it into the head of my document. So I'm going to copy it, Command C, to my clipboard, jump back over here into Dreamweaver, go to my HTML source code, and up into my head. You know what? Let's go ahead and put this in code view for a minute. So right here, my head ends right here on line 8, from line 3 to line 8. I'm going to hit return, paste. Take this little space out. Okay, there we go. You can see I've used one on line 7. I've already used a Google font for something else for my menu, my navigation. And now here's my new Google font. Now, this just gives access to the font. We haven't actually told which style should use it. We got to define it in the style. So you probably noticed there's another step here. And there it says, use the following CSS rule to specify these families. So this is a rule. We need the right selector, though. That's the deal. We need to place this in the right spot, put it in the right selector. Okay, I've copied it to my clipboard. So I need my style sheet. We wanted to work with this thumb title on my global selector, thumb title. So make sure that I'm not in my media query, which starts at line 108. That's where my media queries begin. And you can see I have my thumb title starting on line 98. And you can see line 100 is my font family. So I will just replace that font family with my new one. I'm going to tab this. And now when I pop back to my live view, you can see that I now have a different font. You can tell that A is very Bauman's. There's my Bauman's font, and everything's cool. I could go to my demo CSS and my global, my thumb title. It's listed as Bauman's now. Okay, so just to recall, this selector is also on my split view. I'm sorry, in my media query. So in this media query screen max width 700 pixels, I also have thumb title, but this one still has, Soji, Segoa. It's completely different. So this is going to swap if I go to my media something under my 700 pixels and I scroll down, you can see it's not Bauman's anymore, right? If I want, I can, the easiest way to keep my global one is just go to my screen media query and tell it not to do that. Just don't give it an option, just delete this one. And then my global one will appear everywhere. All right, so I can't specify a Google font for my global selector and have a separate one for any media query, or my global selector can work for everything if it's not overwritten by another selector under my media query. All right, so that's Google Fonts, 2 steps, super straightforward. That is what I would recommend. All right, any questions, just email me. Thank you and stay healthy.